Volatility is back in the Forex market, so let's talk about some setups for next week, including the DXY, the Euro, the Pound, the Dollar Yen, and also gold. Hey everyone, Justin Bennett here, founder of Daily Price Action, Forex trader for the last 17 years. Let's hop right into it, guys. I don't want to waste any time. So looking at the DXY monthly time frame, we have the market still range around here for the most part, and this is that 2011 channel support that we've discussed here many times. And you can see where we have these two lows back here. The market went range bound or sideways really for a few months before we finally got the bottom. Same thing here from the DXY. Now, we don't know yet if this is going to be a macro bottom for the DXY or simply consolidation here before a breakdown. But what we can say is, looking at the daily chart, you can see where this past week we did get a breakout here from the DXY. So you can see here, equidistant channel off of these highs up here. We've got the lows down here, and we did get the breakout last week. So what's going to be key for the dollar, this is really the bottom line for me at least, is 98.6. This is now a confluence of support for the US dollar. As long as we're above here on the high time frames, then I'm going to maintain a bullish bias for the US dollar. It would have to close back below here on the high time frames for this to become a failed breakout and for us to target areas like potentially this open gap down here from a couple weekends ago, okay? So this is going to be your support level up here. You've got that single print up here, that imbalance around 99.88. Like I said in a recent video last week, this area around 100 is also going to be key. You've got that imbalance up here, and you've also got that big round number, that psychological number around 100. Now, if we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, this is kind of interesting because what we saw here on Friday with those Trump comments is the DXY breakdown. So if you look at the hourly time frame, this shows it a little bit better here. You can see that off of these highs and lows, once again, equidistant channel. I'm a big fan of channels, guys. If you can at all costs, use them. If you find a trend line out there, chances are it's also a channel, and it's going to give you a lot more structure to your trading. So looking at this channel here, you can see Friday, we did get that break lower. This was on those Trump comments about China. And so we are seeing the market just kind of rotate lower here on Friday. And full disclosure too, guys, there are, or disclaimer, I should say, there are several hours left in Friday's session as I'm making this video. So we could still get the DXY either, closing even below 98.6 going into Friday's close. We'll have to wait and see. But this right here, this is a confirmed breakdown in the short term for the US dollar. Now, if the DXY can hold above this area here on Friday, then we're looking at a range bound market. You've got support down here and resistance up here going into next week. So really, this would leave the DXY range bound in this area going into next week. Now, if it does close below here, like I said, then this here becomes a failed breakout. Okay, and we could get that push lower down here to fill in that open gap from down here. Okay, so the jury is out right now on what we get here from the DXY. If we look at the 30-minute time frame, turn on TPO, that's time price opportunity. What you can see here is a couple things. First of all, we had this imbalance on the way up. So this was an imbalance here in the market on the way up. You can see that was satisfied on Friday. And this one here is actually an imbalance, a buy-side imbalance up here from the move lower. So this is still open for business, okay, right around 99.2. So potentially next week, if we do hold above this area around 98.6, then watch this area up here because this is going to be potentially a magnet for this market and also key resistance. But it really does come down to where the DXY closes here on Friday. And with these markets, I mean, anything can happen, guys. We've still got several hours left in this session. So there is still that chance that we get the market closing below 98.6, but we will have to wait and see here what happens over the coming hours. Okay, so pretty simple though. Really, and bottom line, 98.6 is the level to watch. Close above this, you're looking at a range here between this area around 100, that single print up there, also this support down here around 98.6 or so. If we close below here, this becomes a failed breakout, and you're looking at that push lower next week, okay? Now, looking at the EURUSD, let's talk about this one because this one is actually showing some strength here on Friday as it does look to potentially reclaim this area around 115.80. So you can see that going back here, this was a key area, resistance back here, support, resistance, support again. And now we got the close below on Thursday, potentially the close back above on Friday. So this right here is starting to look a little bit bullish for the euro. And this area is going to be the next big test around 1.1645 next week. Okay, so we have this area through here. This was that 5-week POC composite that I talked about before. That's a fancy way of saying that this right here, okay, 1.1645 within this consolidation, this level right here is where the euro spent the most time within this consolidation. And you can see the low back here, we've got lows through here and this high. So this is going to be the next big test for the euro next week. Now, if it does close above this area around 115.80, okay, 1.1580, then that is going to be, like I said, a potential, bullish reclaim here. Okay, so you had the close below. If we close back above here, this floats to new support. You've got resistance up here. So that would be your short-term range that you're watching early next week. If we get that, of course, if we close below here, then this maintains as resistance and you're looking at that push lower next week, okay? So for next week, guys, again, tight range here between these two levels. If we close above here and then close back above this next week, then you're looking at a target of areas like this up here, this poor high, and then potentially even areas like 117.80. However, keep in mind, when you look at the DXY would have to close back below this area here, 98.6, in order for the euro to head up here towards some of these levels, okay? So just keep that in mind. All of this you kind of have to take together. Don't just look at this in a silo because it's going to depend on what the DXY does around 98.6 as well. So that's it for the euro, guys, right now. I mean, it is still a range-bound market. However, again, you've got this very tight range going into next week between 115.80 and 116.45. But like I said, there is still time left in Friday's session. So if we close below here, then you're looking at that push lower next week. All right, so time will tell on this one. Okay, so really all of these are just over-under scenarios, guys. That's all we're doing with every single one of these. It's all over-under based on the high time frames. Now, looking at the pound here, we have the market also reclaiming a level here at 113.30. Okay, so this level here, you can see the high back here. We've got lows in this area. We had the close below on Thursday, potential close back above on Friday. I say potential because, again, we do still have a couple of hours left here on Friday. Now, the challenge for the pound, though, similar to the euro, is even if we reclaim this level here, right, the challenge for this is twofold. First of all, and the same thing for the euro, this applies to both of them, is you have the DXY with 98.6, and with the pound, you can also see that all these lows back here, okay, so this area through here is going to be key next week around 1.338. So even if we close above 1.333, you've got 1.338 to deal with next week, leaving this market in potentially a very tight range going into next week, okay? And that's barring, some kind of crazy movement here in the last few hours of Friday, which, who knows? I mean, it could happen in these markets, especially with Trump in office. So if we get the close back below here, that's resistance. Close back above here, that is new support, right? Putting the market back in this range. Close back below here, like I said, and you're looking at that push lower. Okay, so kind of unclear right now with the pound and the euro, even though these are reclaims. Like, here's the issue, guys. If this was a really clean range, if we had range lows through here and the market had dipped below them and then reclaimed them, that would be an easy long, right? That would be an easy long there where you get the reclaim. But the issue with this kind of chart is that you have all these lows, right, through here like this. Okay, so even though we're seeing this reclaim right here, you've got all these lows to deal with that could become resistance. And so that's the case here. Again, you've got the lows down here and you've got this potential reclaim happening, but then you've got all these lows up here around 1.338 to deal with, okay? So hope that makes sense, guys. I mean, the same thing with the Euro USD, really not the cleanest charts out there that we've seen. And that's kind of been par for the course for the Forex market for the last few months, unfortunately. I mean, we all want the great setups out there, the A+ setups, but so far in the last few months, we really haven't been able to get out of some of these ranges. So looking at the dollar yen, we have the market testing the top of this channel that I talked about a few weeks ago. So this market has also been pretty difficult to trade. And that's just because you can see that back here, the market was so sideways. And then we got this breakout recently. It dropped back here within the range. And then we got this massive gap up over the weekend. So the bottom line, though, is that the dollar yen right now is testing the top of this channel. Okay, so this is going to be resistance that's in line with the DXY pulling back. And so I think a lot of this is going to come down to what we get from the DXY, right? Because when we look back at the DXY, if the market holds above 98.6, then this is going to be your support area to watch here next week. And the same thing for the dollar yen. If it holds above this area, right, these highs back here. Now, this is a little bit deceiving because if we take a look at, let's say, the weekly time frame, and you move in here, what you can really say about this is that technically you could draw a level across here as well, and this would also be valid. So if you're looking for an area here, I mean, in my opinion, you've got this entire area to watch going into next week as support, okay? So you have, and I'm going to clean this up too because the market has technically taken both of these out. So you have this area right here to watch for next week off of this high and then all these highs back here. Right, so this is going to be that pocket to watch next week. Now, if we were to get a sustained break below this, then this becomes a failed breakout within the context of this ascending channel, and we could get that potential, rotation lower, maybe even come back here and fill the gap similar to the DXY, okay? But if we hold above here, then this is going to be that pocket of support to watch for next week off of this high back here and all those highs that we looked at months ago. Okay, so right around 150.7 up to about 151.2. Now, the challenge though with trying to long this, of course, is that you have the market coming into the top of this channel. So in order for this to continue higher, it's probably going to have to retest here and then come up here and take out the top of this channel to head up here towards some of these key levels, including that imbalance around 158. Okay, so let's not get ahead of ourselves though for now, guys. This market is still range bound within the context of this channel. But again, this area around 150.7, 151.2, this region is going to be your support and resistance up there at the top of that channel. Okay, so let's wrap up with gold XAUUSD, which obviously is still in an uptrend. However, something did occur last week that is pretty interesting here on the 4-hour time frame. So really, and I want to preface this with saying that I am not bearish on gold. I don't want anybody out there saying that I'm bearish on gold, because I'm certainly not. And I'm certainly not trying to say to short this market, because I don't think that's the right move right now. With that said, you can see where we did get the market giving us a little bit of a fake out above the top of this channel. So what this is this level down here, this is a trend line off the lows, right? Clearly a trend line off these lows. Now, if you take a parallel level off this high up here, you can see where we did get a little deviation here. We got the close above, we had the close below, we had the retest as new resistance. And the thing is, a lot of times with this, and again, I'm not trying to say that I'm bearish on gold, because I'm not. But a lot of times when you do get something like this, you do get continued follow through to the downside. Now, in order for this market, okay, in order for gold to pull back further, what we're going to have to see is we're going to have to see the market get below this level here on the high time frames. If that were to happen, then we could see a little bit of a deeper pullback. And look, guys, I get it, right? Talking about a pullback in a market like this seems crazy. But at the same time, when you look at this on the daily, I mean, there really hasn't been any pullbacks to speak of within this breakout, right? So since the breakout back here, the market went sideways for months, as we all know. We had the breakout through here. Since that time, it has been literally straight up. I mean, there really hasn't been any deeper retracement here. And eventually, bulls are going to get themselves in trouble, right? That's the bottom line. And what I talked about last weekend too is this up here. Okay, let's look at this area up here, 4K. Right? Notice where the market is having trouble, right? The market is having trouble right up here around the 4K area. And that's what I said last weekend was a level to watch, because it is a psychological level. In fact, I'd be willing to bet if you took a level and just put it right across here, right at 4K, right? You can see where this could be a little bit of a fake out here as well developing. And so again, I'm not trying to say, I mean, look at that right there, right? On the 4-hour time frame, you can see we've got the lows back here where we had gold break above 4K. We had it hold as new support, and now it's resistance. So again, as of right now, I'm not saying that I'm bearish on gold. I'm certainly not saying you should short this market. But I think that if we were to see a breakdown from here, you've got this failed breakout above, you'd have a break of this trend line, and then we could get that potential pullback down here toward, some of these key levels, potentially filling in imbalances like this one around 37.68. Okay, so that's what I would watch, guys. I think that we're getting to a point right now within this uptrend where, sure, look, we could just break through 4K. We could head up to 4,100, 4,200, etc. I'm not saying to short this market, but what I am saying is if you're looking for longs here, I don't think this is the place to be doing it. I just think that this market is getting a little bit ahead of itself here. And again, eventually buyers are going to get themselves in trouble, and we are going to get a very aggressive flush. Okay, so not saying to short. I am certainly not bearish on this market. I'm not going to short it right now. If we were to see next week something like this, right, get the market breaking below here convincingly, and then give us a move up here to retest this area, then I might look for a short like that, okay? But that is the only way I'm going to do it. If we get confirmation of one, a failed breakout, which we already had, right? We already had the market giving us that here on Friday, and then also clear this level down here. I think if we were to get that, then you have that conviction for that pullback down here into some areas like 3,800, and then, like I said, potentially that imbalance around 37.68. But for now, this is an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. I have no interest in shorting it unless we get that confirmed breakdown, at which time it's just about playing the levels as I always do. All right, so that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Also join us in VIP. Check out the link in the description of this video for 85% off lifetime access to VIP. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again next week.